on the field, court or ice. You are on the couch. From VG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's CWall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you're not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. CWall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington football team update. I am so happy to be here with you all. As always, I'm your host, CWall. We're coming off a bye week, folks. Washington football team bye week. How's everybody doing? Is anybody out there feeling better? Anyone at all? Raise your hand, share a like or love emoji if you are feeling better. And while you all are checking in and sharing this show, is it okay to say Washington football team loving? Is that appropriate? I'm not sure if that's appropriate anymore. I'm not certain. But at any rate, listen, folks are checking in, need likes and love emojis so that I know for a fact that you're feeling better and that you're feeling great. I see everyone checking in. Damon, I see you. Cameron Mingo, Daryl Taylor. Has everyone already said hello to Mama Waller? You have to absolutely say, hey, Mama Waller, right? John Adams is checking in and saying good evening to everyone. Listen, we're going to do a quick recap of the season so far. We're going to go through some updates of some things that have transpired over the bye week. Good information I think that everyone would like to hear and know about. And then we're going to discuss, what's to come. So who's ready? Who is ready to just get into it? You all know how we start going through all of the discussion. Listen, there may not have been a game this week, but just for a moment, we do need to recap how we've all been feeling and what is your one word to describe your thoughts on the first part of the season. What is your one word to describe your thoughts on the first part of the season? And while you are dropping your one word in the chat, this segment of What's Your One Word is brought to you by Modern-ish, the voice for those who love to express their individuality through their clothing style. So what are you all's one words? Absolutely want to see this one. One word for the season so far. Confused, disappointing, pain. Seen a few disappointed, and rightfully so. Absolutely rightfully so. I see others checking in saying patient, Patient, absolutely. There's still a lot of season left, folks. There's still a lot of season left. So I want to start off this episode with a clip that we left off on before the bye week. This was in one of Coach Ron Rivera's press conferences, in which he was sharing how, how's the players feeling, how's the fan base feeling. And I thought there was a few nuggets in here that were very interesting. If you can't remember, here's a refresher.
I know the players are frustrated being at 2-6, and the fans are frustrated. How do you get this fan base to remain engaged? And how big of a concern is that I guess maybe there's a belief out there that this franchise has taken a couple of steps backwards after a quality season in your first year?
Well, again, last year was an interesting year, and the way things kind of evolved and happened for us. But I'll say that the truth of the matter is it gets darkest before it gets brightest. We're going to have to go through this. There's a thing that I've learned from being around military personnel is that it takes 3 to 5 years to completely change a culture. Okay, futility doesn't just disappear overnight, and to create a positive environment, takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. I look at the things that I did in Carolina. I look at some of the teams, and you sit there and you watch what Buffalo did, which I've talked about, and there are some things that you sit there and say, wow, there's some similarities. But the one thing right now that really is probably the hardest thing for us to figure out is do we have a franchise quarterback right now? Is that guy on our roster, or is that guy going to be in free agency? Is that guy going to be in the draft next year? So we've got to continue to work with what we have, continue to try and grow with what we have, and try and develop who we have. Because if we do have, what we're looking for, and we can plug in a guy, or that guy does develop on our roster, then we're going to be fine. And, whether the fan base stays engaged or not, it's going to be up to them. We can do the best we can. We will play as hard as we can, and we'll see what happens. But, we're going to show up every Sunday, and we're going to try and give our best and hopefully win some football games and get their interest back. But, that's all we can do, Scott. I mean, it's tough. It's hard. I get that part of it. But winning is really the one thing that fixes everything.
So I know that a lot of folks were talking about the comment that Ron Rivera made about the fan base and whether or not the fan base stays engaged. Where I ended up zooming in on in terms of his comments was they have to ask themselves, is the franchise quarterback on the current roster? I said, oh, Ron has told something. If he has to ask that question, then that means the franchise quarterback is not on the roster. So that leads us into talking through, so what were some of the things that transpired during the bye week? Here's one of the things that came up during the bye week that I thought was super interesting. This came out from a NFL analyst on CBS Sports, where it was a potential trade of Buffalo sending Mitchell Trubisky to the Washington football team was assured that morning that it was just about done. He had tweeted it that earlier in that day. Of course, this is old information now, but we're just running back through what happened and some of the things that transpired during the bye week. But this did not happen. This ended up not happening. But the thing of it is, and the thing that is super important to know, is that it could have. And while folks are glad that it fell through, the reality is this: the team is well aware that a quarterback is not on the current roster. Really, really, really makes me wonder, what is going on with Kyle Allen? Is Kyle Allen that bad? Or is Kyle Allen still dealing with some potential injuries there? What could be going on? Because for all of that, just bring Kyle Allen up. but that does not seem to be happening. Here's some other information that came out over the weekend. It's huge college football season that have come out that I don't know if you all have seen this so far. Big college game over the weekend. Liberty versus Ole Miss. At this game, there were 16 NFL teams in attendance. 16, one of which was the Washington football team. Washington football team general manager Martin Mayhew was in attendance at this game to check out the two quarterbacks, Malik Willis and Matt Corral. Okay, so we know that there was scouting presence by the Washington football team at this game. Not only was there Washington football team presence at this game, there was also presence at the USC Arizona State game, checking out quarterbacks. Okay, quarterback Kedon Slovis and Jaden Daniels. There was also Washington football team national scout Jeff Beathard was at the Wake Forest, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill game, checking out Sam Hartman and Sam Howell. So I think it's abundantly clear that the team is in the market for a quarterback. Now, there's been a lot of information and things shared that not a lot of stars, quarterbacks making a lot of noise, but hey, you never know. This might be an opportunity to find that diamond in the rough, to find that gem. You never know. But what we do know is that the Washington football team is well aware that that position is of vital importance and it has yet to be filled. So this is something that we all must continue to watch and be mindful of. They're in the market for a quarterback. Absolutely. We all knew that they were, but they're showing that they know that they need to be in the market for a quarterback as well. More to come there. We'll just keep watching what they do in that area. So now everybody's back. Everybody is back. So in terms of an update on those that have experienced injuries so far this season and whether or not they have been at practice so far. So practicing in some capacity was Brandon Sheriff, William Jackson, Sam Cosme, Antonio Gibson, Diami Brown, Eric Flowers. Logan Thomas is getting some work back in. They're going to be consistently watching him, seeing how he does this week to see if he will be able to play on Sunday. Curtis Samuel was working out on a stationary bike. Montez Sweat as well. If you all remember, prior to the bye, Montez Sweat endured a jaw fracture at the end of the Denver Broncos game and is looking to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Going back to the quarterback conversation, it was not asked today, or so far, Ryan Fitzpatrick's status. So that is still an outlier of, is Ryan Fitzpatrick coming back? What has the follow-up MRI shown on his hip? Not sure. But what we do know is that on October the 25th, Ron Rivera said that Ryan Fitzpatrick would have a follow-up MRI in a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks. So I don't know. At this point, does anybody want Ryan Fitzpatrick to come back, or you just kind of want to go with the flow there? So we're going to take a super quick commercial break, but there's more information to come after this commercial on some tryouts that the team is having this week. So check this out. Washington has tried out 4 players so far this week, including a kicker. So, looks like they've tried out a linebacker, defensive tackle, like I said, a kicker, and a defensive end. Okay? I have to kind of smirk about the kicker, as I'm sure you all have to, smirk as well. So I'm like, okay, well, where was that kicker a few weeks ago when they signed Mr. Blewett? But at any rate, I want to go back to the point of Montez Sweat being out. Now, here's a lot of what Ron Rivera has been discussing as of late about Chase Young. There's been a lot of conversation around Chase Young, and I want you all to share with me in the chat, what is your gut telling you about Chase Young and how he's been playing so far? With Montez Sweat being out and set to miss up to 6 weeks of time, Coach Rivera is very honest that yes, this is going to be a lot on Chase, a lot more on Chase. And what he said in today's presser was, now is when Chase has to really play his game and where he has to really stick to being disciplined. We've been hearing a lot of just recurring themes around the team as a whole, from the word discipline and maturity. All of that is being used, all those words. You hear it over and over and over again. And now there will be heightened, pressure on Chase with Montez being out. But I think right now we're just looking at a team that really did have a very high expectations, I think, even for themselves. And it seems as though, underperforming, I think, would have been my one word at the beginning of this episode. And that's exactly what's happening. It's just underperformance across the board. This is not just a player thing. This is a absolute coach thing as well. Everybody is underperformed so far. And I think they are feeling that. But there's so much more football to be played that it is striking to me that there's so much conversation around Chase right now, when there could be even more conversation around the offense. Why is there not a lot more conversation around the fact that this offense can get down the field but cannot get into the red zone? That's an issue. And that's a narrative that I don't think I'm hearing loud enough. I'm not hearing the narrative of what is the issue in the red zone, that the team cannot convert these first downs into marching down the field and getting into the end zone. What is wrong with getting 6 points and then the extra point to make it 7? I'm not hearing that thing. So it was interesting to me that after all of this, and yes, Montez is out, that now a lot of the commentary and narrative is around Chase Young. Now, I understand that everybody is saying, a once-in-a-generation player. He was the defensive rookie of the year. I get it. I absolutely get it. But there's still additional facets of these issues on the team that it doesn't just rest with Chase. So everybody wants to see Chase go out here and be the monster that we all know that he is. I will still stick to, I truly believe those penalties early in the season got in his head. I really do believe that. And I think maybe even the coaches got in his head a bit. Now, I want to also reiterate this. Even in today's presser, Coach Rivera was very clear about Chase's work ethic, that he has watched tape with Chase. Chase has watched all sorts of tape and film with his position coaches. He asked all the right questions, that he's absolutely engaged. It just has to come out on the field. I can rock with that. I can get with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as long as it's continuing, as long as that narrative is being told with all the questions of Chase. I'm okay with also the narrative being told that he is engaged and he is about trying to be, the best player that he knows that he can be. I'm okay with that as long as the narrative isn't a negative connotation. He's staying on top of it. He's watching the film. He's engaging with his coaches. He's engaging with his teammates. And I'm good with that narrative versus the narrative of the underperformance in that regard, because the whole entire team, coaches alike, are underperforming. I really want to get down into the narrative of what is happening in the red zone. What is happening there? That's a problem. That is an issue, and it's flying under the radar. It's really flying real low under the radar, and nobody is really talking about that at all. So, with that being said, and while we have a bit more time to talk through the Washington football team, let's go through the rest of the season. Now, I want everybody to be bold, right? Be bold in your prediction, but be objective. Okay? Be bold, but be objective. All right? So, Sunday, the Washington football team will take on the defending Super Bowl champion, Tom Brady-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, okay? You all let me know. Do you think the Washington football team will win this game? I want to know. I want to know your honest opinion on this. If I have to be completely honest, by show of hands, and I'm seeing comments coming in, do I think they'll beat the Bucs? No, I do not. Anything is possible, but I don't think that is. So that would be a no. Now, very much like the desire to see the team beat the Packers before the bye week, and the absolute desire to have seen the team beat the Denver Broncos, good grief. It's just, it would be the absolute boost that the team needs for certain. But I'm seeing, all kinds of stuff in here. And as Damon says, if so, that would absolutely be a terrific run for sure. So let's move on. Week 11, Sunday, November the 21st, the Carolina Panthers. Now, I think that's a game that the Washington football team can win. I absolutely think that they can beat the Carolina Panthers. I do. I absolutely do. And as there's a reminder right here in the chat, hey, anything can happen on any given Sunday. That is true. That is absolutely true. But the Carolina Panthers, I do think that is a winnable game. Absolutely think there's a winnable game. Now, I'm not certain. I mean, good grief. The schedule is tough. It's a tough one. Tough. Because after the Carolina Panthers, let's all hope now that's going into Thanksgiving week. Hopefully everyone will go into Thanksgiving week and that holiday week with a positive mindset and a positive attitude, coming off hopefully a win against the Carolina Panthers. Because following up from there on Monday Night Football, and we all know that it has been announced that Russell Wilson is back from his injury and will be playing. He's back on the field. He's ready to go. So Monday Night Football, Seattle Seahawks. What do you all think? I don't think that's a winnable game either, but hey, listen. Could be a change of tune, change of tides. Now, after that Monday night football game is when, and I need some like and love emojis. Are folks going to Las Vegas? I know there was a big deal and a big thing, you know, during the offseason. Everybody wanted to go to this Vegas game. And I know sometimes it's hard once the team isn't looking well and the team gets to losing. It's hard to say, I'm still going to pay this money and get on this plane and travel all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada to go to this game. But at any rate, are you all going? Is anyone going? And I'm definitely seeing some boldness here from Daryl Taylor, you know, going on a 9-win streak. I mean, okay, Coach Rivera, because that's exactly what Coach Rivera likes to say to people. So, Las Vegas, do you think? Now, hey, let me be clear. I think that's a winnable game also. This is not me just, you know, I think it's a winnable game. But, you know, hey, I see your comment, DJ. Raiders going to give them the business too. I think it's a chance. They stand a chance. Where I am starting to get really like, what is really going to happen here? Because you really do not know. Is week 14 against the Cowboys, week 15 against the Eagles, week 16 against the Cowboys again, week 17 against the Eagles again, week 18 against the New York Giants. Let's go back through that again, shall we? 14, you guys. 14, 15, 16, 17, all NFC East games. Who did that schedule? I'm going to find out. I need to know who. I need to know the who of this schedule. That's what I need, the who, because that is crazy. That whole stretch right there, I have no idea. And here's the thing that is so important and need to stress this comment right here is we need to win those NFC East games. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's just, hey, here's the thing though. Let me be clear about something. What I'm saying isn't that, oh my goodness, you know, Washington's going to get killed those games. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the entire NFC East, those are anybody's football games. Now, yes, Dallas was doing it a little bit, but I don't know what happened to Dallas this past week. I don't know. But given that, to the earlier point of any given Sunday, like we all know, still, anything can transpire. And I'm thinking by that time, the whole division may be in desperation mode. The entire division, because that's what it's feeling like. So I don't know what's going to happen. And we have some time to continue to see and read and revisit what happens there. But I really don't know. It's not that I think Washington can forget about it. It is literally everybody needs to be watching those games intently. Like, whoa, we have no idea what's about to go down. Listen, you guys, we are at the end of our time together, and there's always so much more to discuss. But you all, as always, thank you for tuning in. Keep sharing the show with your Washington football team watching. Can I say watching instead of loving? Is it all right to say watching? Washington football team watching, family and friends. You all, I will be seeing you guys soon.
You're not on the field, court, or ice. CWall, you're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's CWall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. CWall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.